Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shai Bashem Dash. I'm going to make this a quick one. Giving all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shai Bashem Dash, and Shalom to the hopefully elect out there. Anyway, I'm going to title this video, as you can see up here, Kool Rap knows he's an Israelite. This is a video put up by GMS Awakening 144. And this was just put up, also known as Young Elder Hamawanga Bar, out of the main New York camp of GMS. Puts up very good videos, informative, and what's good about his videos is he always says this straight to the point. You know, sometimes you put up a lesson and you might go in for an hour and change, or you might do like a quick hit, as we used to call it, and still do. But he puts up a quick. So this is a quick. You know, Jake got short attention span, so this is less than 20 minutes. So I saw enough to say I got to make a little, respond to this video, of course. So Kool G, here it is, Kool Rap and Fat Joe, in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves Israelites. So I said I was going to make this short. So now the first precept that came to my mind is Ezekiel chapter 37, which that's one of the many prophetic scriptures that I love. That's like Ezekiel chapter 37, 1, Revelation 18, and many others. But Ezekiel chapter 37 is like a good old classic movie that you can continue to watch and watch, like Puerto Rican chicks. You give them the original movie Grease. Oh, you're gonna. That's their religion, Grease. If you ever dealt with any Ephraimite chicks, maybe not all of them, but I had this one friend that he's a Jake, but he looked like he can pass for Ephraim, and he was saying that he started talking about his woman as Ephraimite, Puerto Rican, and then he said, he watches a movie, and before he said the movie, I said, yeah, she watches Grease. How do you know? I said, because all Puerto Rican women, they got a fetish for the movie Grease. I don't know what the fuck for. It's stupid fucking movie. Anyway, these certain prophetic scriptures are like good, like a good wine or a good movie, a good classic movie, So I said all that, to say this. So, like I said, the first precept that came to my mind is Ezekiel chapter 37, the whole chapter. It says a whole lot. It really starts with, the vision starts with, if you haven't read it, the vision starts with Ezekiel seeing the valley of dry bones. So that's talking about, what time period is it that talking about? That's talking about when we were here in the slave. Really, I'm sorry. Really after slavery, because this is post-slavery. We were, through Emancipation Proclamation, we was taken out of the Southern slavery, and we became slaves to the North, which is the seat of government, DC. And what people don't understand is everybody became slaves to the seat of government. Even Esau and other nations, everybody became slaves. If you read the 13th and 14th Amendment with understanding, you'll see that we're all slaves. But so what Ezekiel saw was us in this condition as Jake in Harlem, and he probably saw Harlem, when he saw the dry bones in the valley. He actually saw dry bones in the valley. What they represent was the dead state of Israel, mentally, spiritually, not physically. That Ezekiel 37 goes hand in hand with, the young elder mentioned remember themselves, which is Baruch 2:30, if I'm not mistaken. So you put all these precepts together. So what Ezekiel saw was this time period, the time period of Abba coming on the scene, which is Elijah, the seven, Masha, Ariel, Yaquab, and the rest of the seven, us coming unto it, the big breakup, the big splits, and other camps coming from the split one West camps, like the Sakaris and so forth, and then the other different groups. There's guys just going out there just doing their own thing, which for the most part, they have the full truth, but they don't have to, they go off on certain things. So they don't have the full breadth. So Kool Rap, he woke up, he's a bone that woke up, put his clothing on, which is Israel, right? But he really doesn't I don't know the depth of his knowledge of him being an Israelite, but he's from New York. I remember him when he was big back in the day. And he doesn't know every aspect of what an Israelite does. The ones that know everything about Israel are the ones that are on the highways and the byways, the teachers out there, not just a GMS, but of all the different camps, the guys the individuals that are dedicated to pushing this. And all of y'all in one way or another, I don't care if it's IUIC, ICPK, Sakari, or any other groups out there, AOC, LOI, HOTC, let's go on and on. But all of you are contributing to the fact that we're the Israelites. So you are doing the work. Even Vocab's doing the work. He's helping us. He gives us topics, and he gives attention to us by talking bad about us, and that makes people say, well, who are these Israelites? What group is he talking about? Then they'll go and then they'll get, oh, these guys are making all the sense in the world. And see, you Christians, don't come on our page asking us questions, because you might not like the answers that you receive, and you might start believing, you might start bugging out. Anyway, Ezekiel chapter 37, beautiful prophetic chapter of us in this state. You can say post-slavery, meaning hardcore slavery, 12 years a slave, roots type slavery, but this condition where we're so-called free, not really free. And we're going to Christian church, Islam, all these black Kemetic, all these different, the Moors, all these different religions and ways of life, the Black Panthers and New Black Panthers. And then you have the Israelites, which is that's the group. When you become an Israelite, you done made it, okay? But then you got to get the full breath. So you done made it. So the only thing so we woken up. Most of us are woken up in a different, we're common with each other. We know that we have a common ancestry with the Jamaicans and the different West Indian islands. And you got a lot of Jakes out there whose mothers is Ephraimites and his father's is Jake. I know certain Simeonite women that have Jake men, and vice versa. Men, men with the women with the men. So that's that merging of the tribes, man. So that's what Ezekiel saw, Ezekiel 37. So what he saw was the time, if you can put a time frame on it, it's post slavery, post chattel slavery, up until this point now. And certain parts, the last couple of verses of Ezekiel 37 are still not fulfilled. The full fulfillment is when the Most High sets us up in order. The sign, the 12 tribe sign is already out there, so that's fulfilled. So the rest of the fulfillment will be us being taken out of here and us being introduced to King David, and the leadership being set up, and the Yahushua and the angels going to destroy this place for us. We don't got to fight. And when we come back, we're coming back like the Marvel comic book heroes. We're coming back. We ain't coming like Kal-El. We coming like Thanos and Doom, where we completely indestructible. You know, see, Superman, he has weaknesses. We ain't gonna have no weaknesses. Ain't gonna be no kryptonite. It's gonna work with us, and we're gonna enslave the whole planet. We're gonna enslave, put the whole planet in slavery. Ain't that nice, Esau? Because you're gonna be the number one slave, and that's why you come at us so hard because you don't want to go into slavery. Slavery is not a nice thing. When you got to get your ass up and work every day and get nothing for it, we did that, so you got to do it, man. He that leaveth in the captivity shall go into captivity. Anyway, let me leave you with this one precept. Let me just put in remember themselves. Help me out. Remember themselves. It's in their pocket, but I just want to read. Anyway, let me go right to the point. Let me do modified. Let me go to Apocrypha. Okay, wow. Remembered in themselves. You got it 156 times. But this is the number one. This is what I want. It's the very first one. Baruch 2, verse 30. But now you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Let me go to context. I'm going to go to 28th verse. Baruch chapter 2, verse 28 to 31. So I'm reading it in context. As thou speakest, as thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the sons of Yasha'Allah, saying, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. So what does that mean? If you were to gather every Israelite on the planet Earth, I bet you there's over 2 billion. Shit, maybe 3 billion. I bet you there's over 2 billion. So what does it mean scattered? Meaning you got the tribe that was scattered, and then among the tribe, you got them scattered. You know, even if you got 1 million people in one place and 2 million in another place, that's still a small number compared to billions. So we're in the part of the scattering where the bones, and the bones were scattered, right? You see all these people coming up from the Central America right up through Mexico. Those are all Israelites, so they good. I mean, there's a big uproar, but that's all part of Bible prophecy. Because believe it or not, don't be surprised if some of them are part of the elect. Because how can I say it? The gathering of the elect is going to take place mainly in America. Mainly in America. And you're going to have the elect scattered to various teachers that are around the world, in England and different Germany and different places around the world. That's why the angels, Matthew 24, is going to cover the skies and gather the elect from the 4 winds. But the main place is America. That's why there's so much thing going on with America. All right. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. You go out there teaching and you don't really get a response. You get people that join and leave, and you got people in other ways of life. So the majority of our people are not going to listen. Don't focus on them. Just focus on what you think may be the elect. But in the land of their captivities, so America's the number one place. You got the Western Indian Islands, you got Central and South America. These are all our lands of our captivities, even though the northern tribe, the northern kingdom came over here on their own will, fulfilling prophecy. Who took them over? Who colonized them? Esau, so-called white men. They shall what? They shall remember themselves. So it says, in the land of their captivities. What's the number one land? America. Where does truth come out of? It came out of 1 West, out of Harlem, New York, 1 West 125th Street, by Abba, starting with Abba. And Bishop Nathaniel should be ashamed of himself, saying, they said at the Passover, we narrowed him down to 2 people. He's either Abba, which is Elijah, or he's Peter. Which, if he's part of 1 West, you wouldn't taught that. So you're doing your own thing. You disrespecting your elders over you. That's why I said it's going to be broken up. Even though y'all pushing the truth out there, but y'all not pushing the full truth, the full truth, and you have not received the breath, the full breath. You're breathing out of 1 lung. So you kind of asthmatic. The asthmatic Israelites, you need, what is it, the term, looking kind of rusty, boy, you need some oil. Or you looking kind of winded and you need some breath. You don't got the full breath. Any group that's going out saying the MOTB is something other than what the GMS says it is, you don't have the whole breath. You have a map book with a couple of pages missing. So let me read the last verse and I'm going to say Shalom. It says, and shall know that I am Yahweh, their power, for I will give them an heart or a mind, an ear to hear. He's going to open up their hearts. A great cry was made. Another great precept that comes to my mind is, there's a lot of precepts that come to my mind, but another one is Isaiah chapter 19, that whole chapter. 5 cities in, 5 cities in Canaan, 5 cities shall speak the tongue or the language of Canaan. The tongue of Canaan was Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. Lashawan Kodash, you can understand. Another scriptures, Isaiah 13, Isaiah 14, Isaiah 34, Lamentation 4, mainly around about the 20th verse. So there's so many precepts that come to mind. Amos 9, starting from the 12th verse. I believe you can start the 11th verse about the, David being set up as king. Hosea 3, the whole chapter. Hosea 1, the whole chapter. So there's so many precepts that speaks about Revelation 11. There's so many precepts that speak about our wake-up call. So there has to be a wake-up call. Has to be a wake-up call. And the ones that are going to be fully awake are the elect, and those elect will become teachers. So anyway, with that, I'm going to say Shalom.